Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, you want to had a fantastic Sunday. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Hopefully, and like I said, hopefully everyone has had a fantastic Sunday. As we are about to go on and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your week, because obviously it is indeed the start of a new week, meaning that it is time for the week forecast for September the 28th going into October the 4th. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're also going to talk about our current conditions, also going into our condition for tonight. We have a pretty good news update. Good news update on future Hurricane Imelda for the state of South Carolina. And then also, we're also going to just talk about any other topics that we may just bring up tonight. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. Also hit the share button, share it with all the people that you know. We have 589 subscribers trying to get to 600. We are 11 away. Just 11. We are almost to single digits away from 600, and we're doing a Q&A at 600. So make sure to do that. Also hit the share button, share it with all the people that you know. This is a vital time that people need to know the information, and so please go on and share it. Let's go on now and talk about what's going on throughout the actual state. So currently right now we don't have really much going on right now. We do in fact have some rainfall moving on throughout like the coastal areas, going from like Georgetown over into McClellanville, over into Isle of Palms, Folly Beach as well. And then other than that, that's all that I'm really seeing. I mean, you may have like some little isolated shower activity going on over here near Loris and Green Sea, South Carolina, but I'm not seeing anything else from there. What about the entire U.S.? We do, in fact, have some rainfall going on in Florida, in Arizona, in New Mexico, inside of Texas, also in Utah, Nevada, California, Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, going into Montana as well. Now, what about our cloud cover? We do, in fact, have some heavy cloud cover moving throughout the Midlands, also moving throughout the Low Country, throughout the PD and the Grand Strand area as we speak. And that heavy cloud cover is indeed coming in from Imelda. The upstate right now not receiving too much cloud cover, but that was expected. Even as we continue to push this forward, you can see that cloud cover won't quite make it up there to the very far upstate, even as you go later into like tomorrow morning. Still looks relatively like it has not taken over everything yet. But if we continue all the way to like tomorrow afternoon / evening, it finally decides it wants to try and take over the entire state. But it still takes a little bit of some time. Current temperatures right now, 74 at Columbia, as well as 73 in Orangeburg, 74 in Somerville, and 74 also inside of Georgetown. We also do have 74 in Murrells Inlet and Myrtle Beach, even 73 in Conway, 74 in North Myrtle Beach, as well as 72 also up there in Newbury and Greenwood, 75, I believe that is down there inside of Charleston, and 72 in Greenville and Spartanburg, 71 in Gaffney, and 72 in York and Rock Hill. Now, what about your low temperatures for tonight? You have around 65 in Greenville, 65 in Spartanburg, as well as 65 in Rock Hill, 66 in Winsboro, and 69 in Columbia, 70 in Sumter and Orangeburg, and even 69 in Moncks Corner and Kingstree, 70 in Florence and Dillon, and 71 in Charleston, 72 in Hilton Head Island, and 72 in Myrtle Beach. For your rainfall, good amount of rainfall is expected as we move through tonight into tomorrow. 10th dimensional a quarter of an inch is in effect for Aiken, Barnwell, Orangeburg, Columbia, even Greenville and Spartanburg has a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch, and then maybe even a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for Rock Hill going into Cheraw, going into Dillon, Sumter, and then Walterboro. Half an inch to an inch is here for Moncks Corner, Hilton Head Island, and Kingstree. Even Florence is in there as well. And then maybe even an inch to an inch and a half for Charleston, and then an inch and a half possible up there for Georgetown, maybe even up to 2 inches. And somebody might even get an isolated 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. Crazy score for tonight, we're at a 22. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it's the score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of South Carolina. And it's at a 22 right now. That is obviously because we do in fact have still that little low flood risk that continues. Supports, light rainfall, minimal flooding risk due to limited coverage. Mild conditions, though. Low cloud fog is possible. Patchy fog towards, pretty much it says towards sunrise, especially near the coast, with visibilities potentially down to 1 to 3 miles. And for the most part, that's our reasons as of why. Now, the SPC outlook, they always do this to where they update it at the last second. And they did just get it updated at the last second. It pretty much just includes all the low country going into all the Grand Strand area. But for the most part, that's all that really happens there. Now for tomorrow, thunderstorm risk also is here as well for most of the low country, as well as going into the eastern PD and even most, if not all, of the Grand Strand area as well. So thunderstorms possible here tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, thunderstorms are possible again for the coastal areas going into like inland Charleston County, going into eastern Berkeley County, and then trying to make its way all the way up there towards the South Carolina, North Carolina border. Excessive rainfall, like I said, isolated flash flooding is still here for now. That, might go away now that the fact that the shower activity is kind of decreasing right now, but isolated flash flooding remains a possibility as it is still here. Now tomorrow, things take a little bit of a turn. Scattered flash flooding now here from Seabrook Island all the way up through downtown Charleston, through Allendale, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, Carolina Forest, over into North Myrtle Beach, and that is for scattered flash flooding. But if you're in the green, that's for pretty much the entire state of South Carolina. That's not inside the yellow. Isolated flash flooding for everybody else. Now for day 3, this is Tuesday. Tuesday, slight risk as well as scattered flash flooding from Conway to Carolina Forest to Myrtle Beach to North Myrtle Beach to Garden City Beach to Litchfield Beach, Georgetown, and then maybe even some isolated flash flooding possible over here from the western low country going into the Tri-County area, the southern Midlands going back up into the rest of the PD area. Now that's Tuesday. Wednesday, though, things go away. Same thing for Thursday. So things go away as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. But for now, it looks like that we will have a little bit of a flash flood risk as we continue through the rest of like the next couple of days. Now let's go in and look at our models. So models, time is in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure that you go on and pay attention to that. And as you just go on and push this forward, you can see that overall there goes some more isolated shower and downpour thunderstorm activity as you move it even to around 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. And so that's kind of why that isolated flash flood risk is still there, as you still have shower and potentially storm activity moving its way inland into the low country in the PD and Grand Strand areas. Now that lasts all the way to around 7 to 8 a.m. to where we still have some rainfall activity going on. That goes all the way to 9, 10, 11 a.m. And we're seeing a lot of rainfall going on inside of the Grand Strand in the PD area as you go into tomorrow morning. We're not seeing as much in the low country, but things can indeed change. If you go on, that's not the right model. This is the right one. Right here. If you go on and push this forward right here all the way through towards the afternoon to evening hours, isolated to scattered thunderstorm activity continues, and maybe even some regionally widespread areas could potentially get some more areas of rainfall. Now, if you continue moving this all the way into around 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. into the 30th, which is Tuesday, that brings in a lot more rainfall. But luckily, that one actually won't be obviously the heaviest of the rain bands from the actual storm itself. It actually just seems to be more of just the more outer area, the more outer band area. Like you see, because the actual main one band area will actually be more into the storm. But you can actually see that storm start to tick more to the east the later we get towards the run. And that's around 2 p.m. on September the 30th. But just continuing it forward, you can see that pretty much there's still going to be that flash flood threat, but it's not going to be probably as bad as we originally thought. But we thought some areas could potentially get around 10 inches of rainfall. Some maybe we even thought could get more than a foot. But now it looks like that we might only see like around like 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall throughout like the next like 72 hours or so. So that's definitely a lot less. But that's what's going on for the short term. What about the long term? Long term, as you go in and start off here at the 48-hour mark, you can see that as that storm moves its way to the east, the storm moves its way, and the rainfall goes away for the most part. Now, as you get more into October, things look relatively a lot drier. Even as you go into around like October the 6th and the 7th, where we have some more rainfall move through, it's not going to be as much. But it does just provide us just some nice dry weather as you go into the start of October. And the start of October is looking relatively nice. Yes, you will have some rain days, but it looks relatively nice to start off going into like the mid part of October as well. So that's a good thing, at least. And so that's it for our long term. What about this week's forecast? So the week forecast, that pretty much is just the forecast that we just go over with the anomalies and with the actual data that we get in terms of climate and then also in terms of precipitation. And starting off for this week, this will be an above average temperature week. Meaning that the temperatures on average for this time of year will definitely be above average. That does not mean that we won't see any, cool temperatures at all. Just means that we will see more warmer temperatures than normal. And even as you go into precipitation, actually we see some kind of like a split. You see the Low Country, the PD, the Grand Strand, the Midlands all have a more above average precipitation rate. But as you get more into the upstate, you have a more drier scenario going on up there inside the upstate for this week. And so we will potentially see an increase of our drought conditions up there. Potentially, you can see this is what the drought monitor looks like. And if not a lot of rainfall falls up there, would not be surprised to see a little drought start up there inside the upstate later this week on Thursday when they update it. So we'll continue to monitor that and then make sure that you're paying attention as well, so you know what your drought monitor prediction will be as we go into that Thursday. I do want to go on and talk about the actual temperature anomalies themselves, and is there any cold fronts that's moving in? Is there any well, we already talked about rainfall, so we already know everything that's going on in terms of systems, but it kind of makes sense for the precipitation because you have Imelda down there bringing a lot of that rainfall to the Midlands, the Low Country, the PD, the Grand Strand, but it's not quite reaching the upstate as much, and so I can kind of see why that was occurring. But for temperatures, for the most part, things start to get a little bit cooler. Maybe as you get into around like October the 1st and the 2nd, and it looks a little bit cooler than average, but the warm air completely takes right back over again. So I will say that a good part of the week could potentially be cool, especially as you get into like midweek, and as you continue that even forward into like the weekend area of next weekend, you can probably start to get warmer again. Now, exact temperatures, again, these won't be exactly correct, but I mean, you're seeing low temperatures, down into the 60s, highs temperatures down to like the 70s to maybe low 80s, and then we're actually going to start seeing some temperatures potentially down into the low 50s as you move later into like the mid to maybe even late part of the week. But then as we get into next week, those high temperatures come right back into the 80s, and then you have low temperatures back into the mid to upper 60s again. So a little bit of a cool down later this week. So I know a lot of people will like that, but it's not going to last for long. Not going to last for too long, as we're going to start having some more warm air move through. But I will say, a cold blast actually up there from Canada will actually be trying to move down. I'll show you that right now. You see all of that cool air. Let me go and click play real quick. Look at all this cool air right here moving down for Canada as you move all the way into like the middle part of October. And so what will that do? All we can do is just wait and see what happens. That's all we can do at this point. But it does look like cooler temperatures definitely will be on the way mid to late October. So that's it for the week forecast. What about the tropics? So we still have Humberto out here. It's still a 145-mile-per-hour storm, Category 4. Tropical storm force winds could begin to affect Bermuda by late Tuesday. The Bermuda Weather Service has issued a tropical storm watch for Bermuda. Interest there should continue to monitor the progress of Humberto. Dangerous marine conditions, including high surf and life-threatening rip currents, are affecting the beaches of northern Caribbean, Bahamas, and Bermuda. The dangerous surf conditions are expected to begin affecting the east coast of the U.S. on Monday. And you can look actually at the rip current map right now. Tonight, there's not too much of a threat, but tomorrow, a high risk of rip currents is here from Georgetown County all the way down towards the South Carolina-Georgia line, and then up there in Horry County, only a moderate risk. Now that probably will get upgraded to a high risk on Tuesday, but for now, a high risk over there from Georgetown County all the way down into the South Carolina-Georgia border. So definitely have to watch for that if you're going to any sort of beaches going into tomorrow and possibly even the day after. Now, if we go even into the actual track of it itself, obviously not going to hit South Carolina, but it will cause potentially tropical storm force condition over there near Bermuda. And then you have Tropical Storm Imelda over here, which was the main talking point, only a 40-mile-per-hour storm. But definitely a lot to talk about. As it says, Imelda is expected to strengthen and bring tropical storm conditions to portions of the central and the northwestern Bahamas through Monday. Rainfall associated with Tropical Storm Imelda will continue to impact eastern Cuba and the Bahamas through Tuesday, which will likely produce flash and urban flooding. Mudslides are possible in the higher terrain. Heavy rainfall across the coastal Carolinas could cause isolated flash and urban and river flooding through Tuesday. The risk of significant wind impacts along the southeastern U.S. coast is decreasing, but interest in those areas should still continue to monitor the latest forecast updates. Swells and high surf from both Humberto and Imelda are expected to produce dangerous marine conditions and rip currents along the east coast of Florida and the Georgia coast through Monday. These conditions are expected to spread north across much of the east coast of the United States early this week. And so this will continue. This will continue to go on and stretch up throughout the entire East Coast. Now, if you're going to look at the track for this one as well, it has pretty much gone away from South Carolina. I can pretty much 100% guarantee say this will not directly impact South Carolina. Yeah, now I will say that just because it won't directly impact us does not mean anything indirectly. Obviously, you will have that rip, you will have that surf, you will see breathing conditions as well, especially if you're near the coastal areas. We will see an increase in breezy conditions. So if you watch the morning update and you actually start to see those breezy conditions actually start to get more higher than normal, that is because of Imelda over here. Also due to isolated flash flooding as well. That's also caused by Imelda as well. That also will cause some concern as well. But for the most part, not really going to impact us too much. Even if you want to look at the rainfall potential, I mean, you see like a good 1 to 2, maybe up to 4 inches max from this system in general. But other than that, that's all really that they're really talking about. And that's all really for Imelda 2. Pretty much we covered everything for those two systems except for just the fact that it's not really going to do as much as we thought. And it's not going to impact us, which is obviously a great thing. Let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Please remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It is time to help those who need this vital information. He's absolutely correct. We've had 25 people tune in. 25 people tune in. And we only have 8 likes. I don't know what's going on with the other 17 people. But if you are a part of that 17 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also, Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We're at 589, trying to get to 600. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. My Aunt Lula comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. My Aunt Shirley comes in and says, good evening. Pray all had a blessed day. Beautiful day here in Raleigh. Very little rain. We need some. Well, unfortunately, we'll talk about the Raleigh forecast, but I guess actually more fortunately than unfortunate. We'll talk about it, though. We'll talk about it. Mr. Chris says, had a great day here in Moncks Corner. Wasn't too hot and a nice breeze. Same thing at my house as well. With it being 9 p.m., the cloud cover is getting thick where I am. Same over at my house as well. Ms. Tolliver says, good evening, dull and slightly breezy day at my house. Looks like we dodged a tropical mess this go around. I am happy about it. Absolutely correct. We've dodged it for the most part, and models for it that were trending west were, fortunately, wrong. And so that's definitely one of the times where I know people probably are happy that the models were actually wrong. My Aunt Lula says today in Georgetown it rained off and on. In between, it was cloudy. Thank you so much for that weather report over there in Georgetown, South Carolina. My name says, hello, Jay. You're one handsome 17-year-old. I'm glad you enjoyed your day. Thank you so much for that. Hello to you. My cousin Cheryl comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, weatherman, to you. Hope all is well. All is well. Good evening to you as well. Hope you all had an enjoyable weekend. It was very nice in Philly. Be blessed on purpose. Keep up the good work. Love, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that comment as well. Appreciate you for being here. Mr. Michael comes in and says, it looks like South Carolina will be dodging this tropical system. What an amazing blessing. Good night, all. Good night to you as well. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Nice day here. Glad to hear that. And then, Ms. Tolliver says, I saw some photos that showed Jim Cantor was in Charleston. I wonder why. Well, usually he goes to the most like hit area, so I guess that they thought that this area, Charleston, probably would be the most impacted area, which I mean, it was kind of looking like that. It was kind of looking like that. It was kind of like right in the middle, and so I can kind of understand why. But obviously, the forecast was wrong, and so they probably already packed up and already left at this point. But they just kind of just got there early, I guess, just in case something did happen. Trail says, I walked 2 miles this morning. That's great to hear. And then Mr. Oliver says, still waiting on some autumn temperatures. And Mr. Chris says, same here. And that's all that I have for the chat. If you want to say something inside the chat, you can. You just have to be subscribed to the channel because it's on subscriber only. But now let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, what in the world am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about those locations is because we have people from those areas that tune in almost nightly, and because they're not inside of South Carolina, obviously they're not getting their forecast, so I decided let's go on and give them their forecast while they watch, because they're here every night, even though the location is not even about them. So we start off with San Antonio every single time. With San Antonio, you have low temperatures tonight at 69, high temperatures tomorrow at 92, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 71. No precipitation is expected at all. And if you go on and check out severe weather, no severe weather is indeed expected at this time. And then what about excessive rainfall? Indeed, there also is no excessive rainfall that is expected as you move through the next 5 days. Raleigh being the next location, your chance of rainfall definitely has went up. Low temperatures tonight at 67, high temperatures tomorrow at 74, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 66. Chance of showers tonight, and showers are likely tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. So definitely you will see some rainfall. The rainfall that you definitely said that you needed, you will get it. You will get it. In terms of severe weather, no severe weather is expected for you. And then for excessive rainfall, you actually do have a chance, obviously, for tomorrow. Isolated flash flooding is possible as you go into tomorrow. Philadelphia being the third location, you have low temperatures tonight at 65, high temperatures tomorrow at 81, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 64. There is indeed no precipitation that is expected there either, so just pretty much just some quiet conditions going out throughout most of these regions. And there's even no severe weather that is expected. And then for excessive rainfall, I'm pretty sure you can guess it. but no excessive rainfall is expected either. And then the final location being Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 61, high temperatures tomorrow at 84, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 64. Precipitation is not expected. Severe weather is not expected. And what would you guess? Excessive rainfall is also not expected at this time. So that is it for those 4 locations. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Tropical storm Imelda has formed near the Bahamas Sunday afternoon and continues to bring heavy rainfall. The risk of significant wind impacts from Imelda along the southeast coast are decreasing. Another round of showers and storms with a heavy rainfall and flash flooding threat will continue in the southwest through Monday morning. So there is indeed that going on. You also do have some flooding that will occur in western Texas as well as parts of New Mexico. Air quality alerts out for San Antonio, and then also over there for Houston. That is for just air quality alerts, just the air quality just being bad for being outside for too long. And then after that, maybe some wind advisories out there, so it's going to be pretty breezy over there in southern Oregon and maybe even northern California. And that is all that I see here. So let me go in and check out the chat one more time. I don't see anything else inside of the chat. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go in and do so. We have 589 subscribers trying to get to 600. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. And this is obviously a vital time because we're still in the tropics season, the tropical season right now as we speak. Top fans for tonight, Mr. Chris is at number 1, Trail is at number 2. And then I believe my Aunt Lula is number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. And that is all that I have. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Monday morning forecast update. Again, make sure that you are there for that because it will be obviously the start of a new week, the start of a work week, and obviously everyone needs to know what their forecast is going to be as you go into the first day. But that, and then also because we do that every morning, forecast updates every morning, forecast updates every night at 9 p.m. So make sure that you're back here again tomorrow. I will be back. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and hopefully you have a great start to your week